To the present. And the future.
Who's next? Oh my God!
You are listening to Penn State's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler. Here live on Marking Out with Matt Freiler and Jason Marcus, Com Radio's only professional wrestling talk show. Jason, it is Wednesday, March 21st, 2018, and we are on the road to WrestleMania. No other pointless pay-per-views in between us,
thankfully,
and the grandest stage of them all, so now we can finally just hash things out. And to lead our show off, the most important news in wrestling right now, Daniel Bryan has been officially medically cleared. Now, as wrestling fans, what we take from that is he's been cleared for a long time, and now they work him into the story.
See, that's where I'm not 100% sure. There are reports saying he literally was cleared yesterday, right before the SmackDown live taping, or I guess it is live. So I'm not sure. It very well could have been that he was cleared a while ago and they were just saving this for WrestleMania, or it could have just been great timing. So,
yeah, I don't know. I just think that from what I've read and from what I've seen about Daniel Bryan, it was the WWE doctors that hadn't cleared him yet, correct?
Right.
Because he would go wrestle elsewhere.
Right, so his contract is set to expire after WrestleMania, and the plan was if he was not cleared by Dr. Maroon and the WWE doctors, he was probably going to leave the company and go wrestle for, most likely Ring of Honor or another promotion that would love to have him. So, to me, this does sound like a big bargaining chip that they put on the table at the last minute, where they were like, all right, your contract's riding up, so now we're going to, officially give you the green light to go wrestle for us. And it just so happens to be the biggest show of the year. So.
Yeah, one of the things, too, to me, and I know he bounces back and forth, but his appearance. The bearded Daniel Bryan with the long hair, that's the guy that won over the WWE Universe. And as a general manager role, at least he's been pictured, and he's been clean-shaven a lot.
He's a lot more corporate, yeah.
Right, so you figure, it doesn't really, as we've seen, it doesn't really take Daniel Bryan long to grow out a beard. I mean, the guy grows like a full beard in like a week.
Right.
But you see him last night. And
do you think he's going to go back to the old gimmick then? Is that what you think is going to happen? Because I think he stays with the shorter haircut and the shorter, cleaner, trimmed beard. Because he's still going to be over as a performer no matter what he looks like.
Right.
I think the whole beard gimmick is kind of past. The thing that makes superstars great is their ability to evolve characters. So I think Daniel Bryan has that ability now to go with he's a great wrestler, he's over with the crowd, none of that's ever going to be doubted or changed. I think he'll always be over. Now it's where does he take his character from here? So I think he'll be moving backwards if he just go back to what made it popular in 2014.
Oh, you're completely right. Yeah, I mean, this is a complete he's got pretty much this is a new chapter for him, and everybody is just so happy that he's back. And he talked about it last night, the depression that he went through, and this guy, I mean, he lives and breathes competing. I mean, this guy, he did a great job as general manager, but it was just never it was never the kind of gimmick that was right for him to be general manager and not wrestling.
Well, yeah, no, he's a wrestler. That's
right.
What he loves to do, and I couldn't imagine being able to be told to work your entire life for something, to get there, and then to be told you can't do this anymore. Must be a feeling that I can't even imagine. I don't really want to imagine, so I'm happy that he's back. The one thing that I am worried about is going forward, now that he is cleared to wrestle as a full-time schedule, does he get the push he deserves?
Right.
Does he stay on SmackDown? I'd love for him to stay on SmackDown. I don't think it behooves him to move to Raw unless there's some sort of storyline angle. But
well, one of the things we talked about a couple weeks ago is there were things going around where, Daniel Bryan was tweeting about Ring of Honor and talking about doing matches elsewhere, especially with Cody Rhodes. Now, what we talked about is we hoped that WWE wasn't running him into the ground as much as they could because they were never going to clear him. Right. So we're over that. And good thing we are, because I never wanted that. That would have been bad for both sides. But, yeah, I mean, we saw it on the 25th anniversary of Raw, how he comes out and just kind of looks at The Miz, and that was a moment where everyone's like, oh, if Daniel Bryan's coming back, that's perfect. I mean, with what him and The Miz went through on Talking Smack, when The Miz had that famous promo he cut about how he's not the kind of wrestler who throws himself out there and ends his career early by doing, these stunts that, he's not willing to do that. Right. So then, that was one of the most ever, Talking Smack took off because of that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would think that Raw might be a better fit for him in the end. I mean, SmackDown, though, is lacking right now.
The reason I see him going to Raw isn't necessarily it's a better fit, but if we're being candid, SmackDown's always been treated as the B show, and the WWE officials know how over Daniel Bryan is. They know how much merch he still sells. So if he's going to be an in-ring talent full time, they're going to want to put him on the show that's going to get the most viewers, and that's Raw.
Correct. Yeah, I completely agree with that, and it just seems like from a standpoint of comparing the shows right now, I mean, SmackDown has a potential to have some good WrestleMania matches, but I'm just talking about Tuesday nights in specific. We're getting a little more build from the Shinsuke AJ Styles feud, and I like what they did last night where AJ did not run in to help Shinsuke. He handled things on his own. I like that. I didn't want to see AJ run in there and beat up Rusev and Aiden English.
No, because that doesn't make Shinsuke look strong.
Right, and it seems like they're doing that a lot on SmackDown. It's just face heel straight up, and that's it. You see it a lot. The faces will help the faces. Even the Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal thing. As much as I love Bobby Roode, you're literally standing there with Randy Orton in the ring, staring at Jinder Mahal with him. That doesn't make sense from a creative standpoint. If you're doing a triple threat match, that it's just going to be faces. Right, it's just face and heel. So, from the Raw side of things right now, I mean, Roman Brock got some build. Brock came back for the first time in, probably a month or so.
Yeah, I think probably the last time you saw him was possibly not Survivor Series, right? He's been back since Survivor Series.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, the Rumble, he had the defense.
No, I'm just talking episodic Monday nights. He hasn't been around. He's supposed to, Vince guaranteed that he was coming this week, so you bet he was coming this week. But, all this, amidst the UFC rumors and the picture of Dana White, and when his contract is up, we're right now 99% sure that there's nothing left in the works for him after WrestleMania.
Oh, so you do think he's going to UFC? Because I agree.
I don't even know if it's going to UFC or it's just going to be Brock Lesnar, but it just doesn't seem like he's interested right now.
I think Brock has that power to just say,
yeah.
I want to go. I mean, look what he did when he fought Mark Hunt while still under WWE contract.
Right.
So it's hard to believe that while he's not under WWE contract, he's not going to go fight for UFC if he wants to.
Right, and we'll see if the Bobby Lashley rumors will stir up enough to where that could be a potential SummerSlam feud or that could be something down the road. But either way, it's just going to continue on this part-timer thing. You're never going to get something like you do with John Cena where he comes out of his part-time and does become full. That's not going to happen.
I do think Brock will be back. I just think he'll fight with UFC after WrestleMania before he makes another match for the WWE.
Yeah, and it could be at SummerSlam.
Right,
we may not see him till SummerSlam.
In between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, Brock will have a UFC fight.
Yeah, and it could be that at SummerSlam he has some kind of title, trying to get his title back, because it doesn't seem like at this point they would allow him to carry that title all the way through. I mean, this is a long reign, Jason. This is already a year. I mean,
which is kind of crazy because it doesn't feel like it, but
it doesn't, because he
also hasn't had that many title defenses.
Maybe I think 4 or 5. I think that we can count them. I know he had one with Braun. He had the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam, which was the best one.
He's only defended the title at major pay-per-views, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really count the one with AJ because that wasn't really a title match.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's been maybe 3 or 4 defenses now that I think of it, and most of them have been either triple. None of them really have been one-on-one. So I mean, besides Braun, I think that was it.
Yeah, and Samoa Joe at Fastlane.
Samoa Joe.
It wasn't Fastlane.
Yes.
It was Great Balls of Fire. Great
Balls of Fire. Samoa Joe. I got to give credit to Samoa Joe there. That was actually one of the better matches that Brock Lesnar worked, and you look so forward to seeing what Samoa Joe can do, and then he went and had this injury, and he's out of WrestleMania. It's just such a shame for him because
he'll be back on Raw after WrestleMania.
He would have had John Cena, and that would have been huge for him. But nonetheless, we are going to take our first break here on Marking Out. When we come back, we're going to talk about what we've been talking about a lot, the Ronda Rousey match with Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Marking Out on Com Radio.
Hey Com Radio listeners, make sure you stay tuned in this week for all of Com Radio's coverage of the best Penn State sport matchups. Wednesday at 5 p.m., Penn State softball takes on Hofstra. Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., Penn State baseball takes on Pitt. Thursday at 7 p.m., Penn State women's lacrosse takes on Johns Hopkins. Friday at 6 p.m., Penn State softball takes on Maryland in Game 1 of this weekend series. Saturday at 1 p.m., Penn State men's lacrosse takes on Cleveland State. Saturday at 3 p.m., Penn State softball takes on Maryland in Game 2 of this weekend series. Sunday at 1 p.m., Penn State softball takes on Maryland in Game 3 of this weekend series. Don't miss the best way to catch all of your favorite Penn State sports and tune in all week long here on Com Radio.
We are stronger, Lions pride, stand together, blue and white. Lions pride, show the world your Penn State side. Lions pride, you live it, you love it, Lions pride.
Shop our winter sale, in-store and online at lions-pride.com and save up to 50% on your favorite Penn State gear from brands like Nike, Under Armour, Champion, and many more.
You live it, you love it, Lions pride.
Spring is approaching, and there's no better way to get ready for spring than with great Penn State apparel from Lions Pride. Right now, it's their biggest sale of the season with up to 50% off on gift items and Penn State apparel from premium brands like Nike, Under Armour, Champion, League, and more. You can also shop the sales selection at lions-pride.com. Whether you're looking to avoid spring showers or want to spend some fun in the sun, Lions Pride downtown has everything you'll need. Don't wait for winter to end and stop by Lions Pride today.
Now back to Com Radio's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler.
Why, yes, you are back listening to Marking Out on Com Radio. I'm sorry, Jason, I probably creeped you out a little bit there.
It's okay. If I didn't know what you were doing, yes. But unfortunately, I got the reference.
You're like Michael Cole. He goes into Ultimate Deletion. He's like, I apologize for what you're about to see. The way that the announce crew has worked this Ultimate Deletion thing is awesome. I think that since the beginning, Michael Cole has just been like totally like out of this. He's just like, he has no interest in it. And then Corey Graves is like very into it, and he calls himself a Woken Warrior. And then, the combination of Booker T and Coach, they're just like, what? They're like indifferent.
Michael Cole represents all the wrestling fans who didn't watch TNA. And it's like, what am I watching? And
right.
Corey Graves is all the hardcore wrestling fans. They're like, this is so cool.
Yeah, Michael Cole refuses to let himself into any universe that exists outside of WWE.
Like, this isn't wrestling.
It makes sense, but one of the things I'm glad about with the Ultimate Deletion is that it could exist in basically a wrestling universe that wasn't just corporate WWE.
Right. Now, I'll let you talk about it more because you're obviously more familiar with the old product. You're more of a Matt Hardy fan than I. What was your overall opinion of the Ultimate Deletion? How did it compare to the TNA version of it?
I think the best thing that they did is stylistically. It was similar. One of the things that I thought they would do is they would make it too much House of Horror-ish and use those camera angles and those bizarre cuts that we get of Bray Wyatt's character where it's like we're bouncing in between things and we're having flashbacks. Right. But at TNA, it wasn't that. It was literally just Matt Hardy's vision of what this was supposed to be, and that was just some drone footage. That was different camera angles. But it wasn't too bizarre like the things we've seen from Bray Wyatt's promos where it's like, I don't even understand what's going on. We did have a little bit of that, but it was in the right place. It was when Matt kind of introduced Bray to flashbacks of the Sister Abigail's compound being burned down and the things that they did with Randy Orton in the build to last year's WWE title at WrestleMania. And then you kind of got the flashbacks from Bray. But that was really cool. This whole thing felt like a movie. And it was really neat because it did include enough wrestling to where you could actually say, okay, this thing isn't just some big gimmick. They did have two rings. They had the ring in the backyard and the ring in the Dome of Deletion, which is something that's been used quite a bit from Matt in TNA.
I wonder where it was filmed. Do you know?
Yeah, the Hardy compound in North Carolina.
Matt's real life residence?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's something that he introduced when he was obviously part of TNA as the Hardy compound, existing with him, Brother Nero, his wife Queen Rebecca, King Maxwell, his other son Wolfgang, Senor Benjamin, their gardener. Yeah. Which
I would love to know if that's actually their gardener.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe it's his real life wife's dad, so I think it's his father-in-law. Okay. I believe that. I could be wrong. That could be just kayfabe, but and then there's also Vanguard 1, which is really cool. It's like the Vanguard 1 is the drone that kind of captures all this. So like the way they position Vanguard 1 is it's the drone that's capturing everything, but it's also the drone that's like has its own computer in it to attack when Matt Hardy says. So like,
Right. I really like the fact that they you could see they really gave Matt full reign over this.
yes,
They weren't. I mean, obviously we can't know for sure how much backstage stuff, like how much did Matt propose and that they shoot down. But to me, from an outside perspective, it really looked like they let Matt just kind of create the whole thing.
here's why I know they did, because if not, this would have been a match that led back to the ring.
That's
And
true.
you know that's what WWE likes to do. They'll start it somewhere, they'll film it, and then they bring it back to the ring.
Did they do that for House of Horrors?
Yes,
Okay.
they did that, and they did it again for something else. I forget what it was, but they like to do that kind of thing, especially with these off-site filmings. But no, that doesn't work with the Matt Hardy story because like you're deleted in the Hardy comp, like you're not deleted in a WWE ring.
Right.
You're dumped in the lake of reincarnation, and that's how it works. So yeah. Now I'll ask you this, Jason. This is a question you can't answer about this whole thing. So at the end of the Ultimate Deletion, Bray Wyatt's put in the Lake of Reincarnation. He's not, brought back. Brother Nero's there, Jeff Hardy, who I thought they edited out, but nonetheless he did make a short cameo. And so now that Bray is in this state of like, will he reincarnate? Who do you think they bring him back as? Bray Wyatt, darker, like deeper, darker, crazier Bray Wyatt, if that is even possible, or like Husky Harris with Nexus.
I'm really glad you asked this question.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that they put him in that, Lake of Reincarnation.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the character needs. The character's been needing a reboot since WrestleMania 30. So this is almost 4 years in the making that he's needed this. But I could see him coming back in one of two ways. I definitely think whatever gimmick he comes back as a face. And I think that's needed because as a heel Bray Wyatt, he's been so stagnant. You need to go. The one thing about pro wrestling is if it's not working one way, you almost can always just try and go the other way and you'll be able to gain more momentum. I think if he comes back as a face, he'll be able to reignite his career a little bit. Now, they could either do, like I said, one or two ways. They could either go a completely different gimmick where, like, for instance, kind of similar to how The Undertaker came back as Biker Taker. I really could see I feel like in real life, Bray Wyatt is one of those, like, biker dudes.
Right, yeah.
I could
can
really
see
see him coming back as, like, a similar gimmick, like a Harley riding, like, tough guy, like, I'll beat you up,
I
big
get that.
biker guy. Because that's a character that he very easily could play. He
Oh,
has
yeah.
a build for it. That's part of his real-life personality.
Mhm.
Or they could even give him that gimmick and still keep the name Bray Wyatt. Like, they did it like they did exactly with The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or the other option is they bring him back as the same gimmick, but they just change up his appearance a little bit. So I think if he comes back as the same character, but I think they cut the dreadlocks, I think they give him really short hair. I think he keeps the beard, but maybe just changes his attire, he cuts his hair a little bit, and
Yeah.
just gives him maybe like some new moves in there to just
Right.
freshen him up a little bit. But I almost like that better than a complete 180 to like a biker character or something completely different.
Well, we talked about this last week. I would love to see Bray Wyatt manage Braun Strowman as he has, and also serve as maybe a tag team partner for WrestleMania. I mean,
Honestly,
it's
they
not going to be that. I don't know if it's going to be that quick though.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say last week on the podcast. I would love to see Braun and Bray as a tag team after the belts, but I don't think they're going to do it at WrestleMania. I do think, and we can start to go into the Braun storyline now, I guess. I think Braun will defeat the Bar by himself, although that doesn't really do much favor to the Bar because they've spent so many months building them up, and to have them lose to Braun by himself doesn't seem like good booking to me. So I'll be interested to see what they do.
Yeah, so before we go to break here, when we come back, we're going to talk a lot more about the Raw Tag Team titles. But just to take us into break here, I do want to say Ultimate Deletion was one of the most entertaining segments I've seen on Raw in a long time. Very glad that they're letting Matt Hardy have creative control over this thing. I'm excited to see how Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero, plays into all this because he's scheduled for a return very, very soon. And Matt Hardy and Jeff don't really have a match at WrestleMania right now. And if they're going to go forward with them as a tag team, are they going to go forward with them as singles? This thing is working right now. Ultimate Deletion was trending on Twitter. It was the #1 worldwide trend. And Matt Hardy is going to captivate the wrestling world once again with this thing, but this time on a bigger stage. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Marking Out on Com Radio.
Are you bored of your typical everyday workout? Come by F45 Training State College where they offer a new and intense 45-minute workout every day. Combining the most effective cardio and resistance training technique, you will never have the same workout twice. With their incredible team of coaches, you are guaranteed to leave feeling accomplished and knowing you received the best 45-minute HIIT training workout in the world. So come join F45 at 232 East College Ave for your 2-week free trial. And after that, discounted student rates are available.
It's winter outside, which means we're just over halfway through the NHL season, and the Sin Bin on Com Radio has you covered. Eric Olson, Josh Starr, and Alyssa Devine will break down everything happening in the NHL with cutting-edge analysis and even the occasional bold prediction.
If they can get healthy and stay healthy, the Anaheim Ducks will win the Stanley Cup.
Here's Hampus. Pulls the trigger. He scores! A hat-trick winner in overtime for Hampus Lindholm.
The Sin Bin, Monday nights at 7, only on Com Radio.
Spring is approaching, and there's no better way to get ready for spring than with great Penn State apparel from Lions Pride. Right now, it's their biggest sale of the season with up to 50% off on gift items and Penn State apparel from premium brands like Nike, Under Armour, Champion, League, and more. You can also shop the sales selection at lions-pride.com. Whether you're looking to avoid spring showers or want to spend some fun in the sun, Lions Pride Downtown has everything you'll need. Don't wait for winter to end and stop by Lions Pride today.
Now back to Com Radio's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler.
Back here on Marking Out, Matt Freiler, Jason Marcus on Com Radio's only professional wrestling talk show. Here on the road to WrestleMania. If you're just joining us, we talked a lot about the return of Daniel Bryan. We talked in depth about the Ultimate Deletion and our thoughts about that. Also some other title feuds, but the one that we want to talk more about now because it involves Braun Strowman and he doesn't have a partner is the Raw Tag Team titles. So, Jason, in your opinion, what's going on here? Does the WWE want Sheamus and Cesaro to continue to have the Raw Tag titles, or is Braun Strowman going to be the first man to own them and by himself without a partner?
I think that, well, he wouldn't be the first, but I'm very interested to see, more than any other match on the card, how they book this one specifically. I feel like all the other matches on the card, I have an idea how they're going to go. I genuinely don't know how you book this while keeping all the talent involved looking strong. Because on one hand, you're either, if you don't give Braun a partner, he's going to go into WrestleMania and he's either going to win the tag team titles by himself, thus making the bar look ridiculous, which it would be a waste of booking over the past couple months. Or you have the Bar retain the tag team titles by, I would assume, some sort of shenanigans. But that just seems like such a dud for Braun Strowman because he's had such a great year.
Right.
That I feel like he needs to have a big moment at WrestleMania to really solidify himself. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do here. What do you think? What do you think is the best route?
Well, I liked what you said there. It has some good points to it, but I don't really understand that either. I mean, Braun Strowman was kind of slighted at Elimination Chamber, so with him being pinned clean, he has had a great year, but that has not included a title. So at this point, it's like, what are we doing with Braun Strowman? I mean, he's being pushed as the most dominant wrestler right now, but he hasn't had a title yet. So that's obviously not going to be the Universal Championship. Clearly, it's not going to be the IC title. So the only thing really left to work with if you're on Raw is going to be that tag team title. So, like we just mentioned, Bray Wyatt's being repackaged. I don't know if that'll play into it. Probably not at this point. That'll probably take a little bit longer. But I don't know. I'm also confused on how you book this, which is good. Because I think one of the most entertaining things that we saw from the Bar is when there was that 30-minute Iron Man match. I'm forgetting what pay-per-view it was, but it was a 30-minute Iron Man match with Sheamus, Cesaro, and the Hardys. And that was an excellent match. So, I think that the Bar is capable, clearly, of putting on a great show. But, all these other tag teams like the Revival, and like the Revival entered the Battle Royal, so...
Yeah, which I was confused about because I had thought they had just scrapped the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in favor of the Women's Battle Royal, but it turns out they're doing both. Mm-hmm. So this is a loaded card.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's almost so loaded that, you have to... It's tough to decide the pecking order, and we talked about this last week, but if you have to put Roman and Brock last, which I think you do...
Cena Taker, though, I could go back and forth on that one for months.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, the rumor mill says it might not go official until literally the go-home episode.
Oh, no, I believe that, but I'm saying come WrestleMania Day, when Cena and Taker's on the card and that's happening, I don't know how you put that not last.
Right.
I mean, it'll definitely be, if it's not the last card, it's a second to last card match on the card.
Yeah, and last year we got Roman and Taker, obviously, as the last match, and the WWE title was, the WWE title's probably going to be third from the end again, as it was last year, when you look at pecking order, but then even Ronda Rousey. Like, how are you going to tell Ronda Rousey? I mean, maybe they'll open the show with that.
No, they won't open the show. They usually open WrestleMania with, like, a multi-man match with just good workers.
I think it was AJ Shane last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's all about the opening matches for pay-per-views tend to be the one with the best in-ring talent.
And what surprised me is that last year, and we'll kind of wrap up with this. The Royal Rumble was like 8:00, so it was like the second match, and I was shocked that they were going to do that.
Yeah.
So there might be a little bit of reimagining this order, but right now it looks like Cena Taker's going to be very pushed to the end of like last minute thing.
Yeah.
And the whole Kane choke slamming Cena thing means nothing to me. I get it. Like, wrestling fans are supposed to know that Kane and Undertaker are the brothers of destruction, but they've just fallen so far out of that hasn't.
Right, because Kane came back to television, which I thought was interesting because they the last time we saw Kane, he was murdered by Braun Strowman, and then they just didn't even mention it.
That's how we're going to end our show today. Thank you for tuning in to Marking Out. We'll be back next week. We have a couple of interesting things in the cards that me and Jason are going to bring to you now that we are finally so close to WrestleMania. Just 2 more shows of Marking Out before we get there, and we're going to have some great things in store for you. So, again, thank you for listening. This was Marking Out on Com Radio.